What is good, guys? It's your boy Smith, and today we are going to be going over some baby leopard gecko care, how I'm keeping them, everything we're doing with them. We're going to touch a couple bullet points, really talk about feeding, housing, handling, lighting and heating, and then like overall availability, just a couple categories. We're going to keep it real quick though, casual conversation, so let's get into it. I guess I got to sit down, huh? We find a seat and we're going to get right into it. Let's go. All right, so I got my seat. Let's get it. So first we're gonna talk about feeding. And this is like for baby leopard geckos, your first week, first month, first 3 months. This is real early. Like pretty much hatchlings, come right out the egg, what to expect. Now, for the first like 5 to 7 days, they're not gonna be eating anything. You still wanna go in there and check on them regularly though. You still wanna keep an eye on them. Make sure to spray them down. Keep everything moist in there because they're gonna shed. They're gonna eat after their first shed. Usually baby leopard geckos have problems with their sheds. Let's try to alleviate that right out the gate. You know, keep an eye on that, keep everything straight. Don't make things too wet. You'll have more problems than you really are ready to deal with. But after their first shed, they're gonna eat regularly every day. I put mealworms in there. I had really small mealworms. I got like 10,000 of them. I put like 5-6 mealworms in there daily. Now, if you have a bigger dish that the mealworms can't escape, like this, you have a bigger dish, you might be able to get away with putting more days food in there. Just keep an eye on them, take out whatever ones die off or whatever. You might be able to get away with putting more food in there. But we put food either in every day or every other day, and all of them are eaten. And then also, we don't really experiment too much as they're young. We don't experiment too much with their diet, but I do also have like quarter-inch crickets, you know. So I'm pretty sure they would like to hunt and chase things around. I might give them a couple and see how they do. Yeah, but for right now, I really just keep it mealworms, just small mealworms. I keep them in stock, and yeah, that's what we're doing for feeding over here. All right, your supplements are super important at this stage. I rescue leopard geckos all the time that have metabolic bone disease, and it usually comes from improper, not only diet, but improper nutrition when they were younger. So you always want to have your calcium and multivitamin in there. I keep it in a small dish. I'm gonna be including B-roll for you guys to see. You always want to keep your calcium and multivitamin in there. Like I said, they're growing rapidly. They're growing every single day. That's a lot. That's a lot. You know, you wanna have your calcium and your multivitamin in there with them every single day, regardless. They don't have access to UVA, UVB. They don't have access to none of that. So they're gonna get their supplements from their powder. Make sure, it is imperative. Make sure that they have it. All right, now for housing, we are keeping the babies in small, like shoebox size bin. Once again, I'll include B-roll. But as they get older, we'll be moving them into full enclosures. Now, if you're not breeding, say you just bought a baby, I would recommend something like a 10-gallon tank, not just real small, but still give them a little bit of space. And this is just so they're able to find everything. You want them to be able to find their hot spot, their moist hides, their calcium, their water. You want them to be able to get everything. If you're buying a baby, like I said, 5 to 10-gallon tank, upgrade them accordingly as they get older. And they're gonna grow fast. Leopard geckos, they grow pretty fast. We're keeping the hatchlings in, like I said, the little shoebox size bins for now. Yeah, we'll upgrade them and move them into bigger enclosures as they get older. We wouldn't recommend cohabbing at all unless you have all females. There's definitely ways to get females. If you're breeding, you probably notice their temperature is sex determinant. So depending on what temperature your incubator is set at, you know, you can get girls, boys. I'm not gonna get into all that. So if you've got all girls, then cohabbing is absolutely okay. But I would still recommend keeping a close eye on them. Some females are cool with all company, and other females just don't play that mess. They ain't with that. So, and absolutely no males together. Males, they will fight to death. Even if they're clutch mates, that's just what males do. So no male cohabbing. All right, handling. Leopard geckos are super easy to handle. A lot of my leopard geckos, you open the front of the enclosure, they'll come right out to you. They're having the time of their lives. In the early stages, the first day, 2-3 days out of the egg, they are terrified. They're scared of everything. As soon as I touch the enclosures or the little bins, they start screaming. And I really don't want to stress them out, so we just check on them every day. Maybe sometimes I may even just take my hand and put it inside the bin. I won't reach for them. I won't even look at them. I'll just put my hand down flat inside the bin, leave it there for about 10 or 15 seconds they have time to come up to my fingers and smell them, lick them, do whatever they want. They usually go on about their business after that. The first week, I'm not handling them too much at all. But if you're checking on them regularly and you're coming in, you're changing the paper towel every day, you're giving them fresh water every day, they quickly get used to you. By day 3, they're done screaming at you and they're ready to start coming out. All of these ones in here, they're just a couple weeks old and they're all ready to just come hang out, which I think is absolutely amazing. But like I said in the beginning, keep it to a minimum. Like, they're terrified, they're scared of everything, so I just don't want to stress my little babies out. I don't want to stress them out, so I keep everything real low. I keep it to a minimum. But as they get older, handle them as much as you want. The leopard geckos love exploring and climbing and doing their thing, so that's real easy. You just take them out hand over hand, let them walk, and until they get, you can even let them climb on you. They'll climb to the highest point and just hang out. They're really cool, real easy to handle. I recommend leopard geckos for almost any keepers, beginners and advanced keepers. They're really dope animals. So, all right, we're gonna speak for a second about lighting and heating. Your lighting is optional. As we know, there's been people breeding leopard geckos for 40 years. You know, they've been doing it just fine in bin systems, no lights. Their animals are perfectly healthy, perfectly fine, live 15, 20 years. They've been doing it like this for a long time. So your lighting is optional. I do believe in giving your animals the best that you can though. So as they get older and we move them into bigger enclosures, we will be using UV. All my older leopard geckos, all of them have UV. They all have under tank heat. They have more naturalistic enclosures. I just believe that's better for the animals. But in the beginning, we want to keep everything sterile. We want to keep an eye on them, actually make sure that they're eating and pooping regularly. We need to be able to see that, keep an eye on that. And like I said, it's just easier to clean things in the bins. It's just, everything's easier to clean that way. But your lighting, like I said, your UV is optional. As long as you're supplementing your food properly, they can go their entire lives without ever seeing UVB exposure. I would still recommend it regardless, but as long as you're supplementing properly, they'll be fine without it. Heating, we're using, well, we have a couple different ways. We have under tank heaters, like actual heat pads, and then we have like thermal tape hooked to a thermostat, dialed in, because you don't want that getting too hot. You don't want to cook your babies at all. Yeah, so that's how we're doing it. They thermoregulate through their stomach, so I got it set to like 88 or 89. I think it's 88 or 89 degrees. All right, now I'm using the bin system, so I'm using thermal tape hooked to thermostat. Geez, thermal tape hooked to a thermostat. It's dialed in at 89 degrees. If, like I said, you could have purchased your baby, you say you're not breeding, and you just got them as pet only. I would still recommend a thermostat. Dial it in to about 89 degrees or whatever. Do your research. Do your research. Figure out what 89 degrees. Put it at 89 degrees. You'll be fine. I promise. And then as far as like your over tank heat, you could use like a very low wattage heat bulb. You could use a low wattage UV bulb. I would recommend the deep heat projector. That's what they are. Deep heat projector. They don't put off any light, but it just pulses heat in the area. I would recommend that. Also hooked to a thermostat. You don't want it to get too hot, but I think they're very efficient ways to heat an area. So yeah, that's what I would recommend for like a small tank or any tank, any enclosure any enclosure. And this step is just really important because we want to make sure they get to the proper temperature that they're digesting their food. All right, we don't want to have any impaction, any issues like that. So we want to make sure they're getting to the temperature that they are properly digesting their food. This is why we also keep them in the bin so we can see, okay, this is happening day in, day out. As you get more comfortable, you upgrade them, move them on out into bigger enclosures. All right, let's talk availability. Y'all already know you can find a leopard gecko anywhere. Everybody got them. Everybody's breeding them. They're like the ball python and lizards. They don't need no help. Everybody has leopard geckos. You can find a normal type from anywhere, like $30 to $50, something like that. But once again, like anything, as soon as you start adding morphs, the price is affected dramatically. I have a couple personal projects that I'm working with. I love the morphs, I love the colors, so that's something I'm into heavy. Now, if you're looking for like a pet, just a pet only, then it's I think it's okay to just get your leopard gecko anywhere, man. Pick them up, you know what I mean? Depending on the condition the animal's in. If the animal's healthy, go ahead, just get them from anywhere. But if you're breeding, then I think you might want to actually take some time, do a little bit of research, and actually talk to somebody who knows what they're talking about. Somebody who's been dealing with the animals and can actually tell you the lineage of them. You don't want to get, surprises are always cool, you know what I mean? But you don't want to spend 2-3 years working on a project to realize that you don't even have a gene that you thought that you know what I'm saying, that you had, that you may need. Yeah, so you want to talk to if you're breeding, if you're breeding, you want to talk to a breeder who's been in the game doing their thing, kind of knows what they're talking about. In fact, you don't know how many times I've been given leopard geckos or bought leopard geckos that are supposed to have genes, supposed to be male, supposed to be female. I love females, so, oh yeah, this one's there ain't no female. There ain't no female. And it happened to me 3 times already. I don't even want to get into it. Make sure you're dealing with somebody who knows what they're talking about, because it'll save you a lot of time and a lot of trouble. I promise you. And that's pretty much it, y'all. Make sure we have our heat tape hooked to a thermostat. Make sure that we are supplementing our little babies so they get the proper nutrition. We don't want to have any problems. We want them to grow up happy, healthy, and strong. And make sure that we're keeping them misted, because like I stated, they do have problems with shedding early. So if we can help take care of that, then why not? So, and with that, I think that's all the bullet points for right now. I keep you guys updated on how they grow. I'll see if I have enough footage. I just started this, I apologize. But I'll see if I have enough footage to show you what they look like in the beginning. Actually, I have one in my incubator that just hatched out today. So I'll show you what the baby looks like today, and I'll show you what they look like in a couple weeks later, and then we'll just follow their progress over time. Thanks for tuning in, man. I appreciate it. You guys could have been anywhere else in the world, but you're here with me, and I really do appreciate that. It's your boy Smith from All Things Living. I'm out.